So, welcome everybody. We are now 2 weeks into our season. It's been a while since I made a video. So our teething troubles with the train are now starting to become apparent after a winter off. So we've got a coolant leak. I think it's a pipe that runs into the oil cooler, which sits on top of the oil filter, which is down here, right in the guts of the thing. So I'm going to have to take that all apart. To do that, might as well change the coolant while we're here, or at least some of the coolant. Coolant's really expensive, so I'm going to suck out what I can from the top into a container, and then drop out the bottom and save that into like a catch pan, and save as much as I can, and then pour that through a sieve back in when we're done. Hopefully we'll be done today. So let's get on with it. So we're going to suck out, this is the header tank, we're going to suck out what's in here. This is a really cool, look at that. Use this for all sorts, brake fluid, all sorts. So, okay, so when we refill this system, what's happened in the past is it hasn't been bled properly. So there's a little bleed screw here. So this is like one of the highest points in the system. So I'm just going to crack that, and that should, that's an 8mm spanner. That, when you fill up the system, the air has to get out, and that allows the air out of the system, so we get no air locks and air bubbles inside the engine as the coolant flows round the system. We don't want any air locks in there, because what can happen there is you start to overheat, and then suddenly that air bubble will go, and the coolant will suddenly start to flow, and you suddenly drop coolant and you stay hot because there isn't enough coolant in there. So you just need to make sure that that allows the air out as we put the new coolant in a bit later on. If you guys can see this, but this is the one I think is leaking here. Of course it would be the inside one, so I've got to take this one off first, get this pipe out of the way so I can see. I'm not overly impressed with the access here. Yeah. Alright. Let's get on with it then, eh? Let's see what happens if I start to undo this. Oh, it looks fairly loose, doesn't it? Watch this oil line. That's quite irritating. Do it a little bit more. See, we're starting to get coolant. That's just going to gush out. It'll only be leaking when it's hot. Oh, that's very irritating. Right. Let me get back to you on this. So we've taken it apart. Bit of a struggle, needed 2 hands, so I couldn't really show you with the GoPro. But we've got these two pipes that come round from the other side of the engine underneath here up to these pipes into the oil cooler, and I think it was these Jubilee clips. One of them just wouldn't do up anymore. I think that was knackered, so I'm just going to clean up the end of these pipes with memory cloth, and then we'll get it back together again, I think. So that's the job done. It's 3 new clips. I think this is the one that was leaking, so I've put 2 clips on here and pushed this pipe in a bit further up. It goes all the way up to here now. You've just got to be mindful of that though. That's really close. It's really close to that belt. But when it's running, that's the main drive belt. If that, oh no, that's the compressor belt. Yeah, it should be alright. When it's running, any slack should be on the top side, so Yeah. So everything put away. We just got a little rag in there to see if there's any leaking. When I want to refill it, I'll be able to see on the rag rather than waiting for drips, because there's drips everywhere at the minute. Right, let's go and fill it up. So, when I was putting the train down on its jack, I noticed the drive tyre seems to be a lot of like quite flat on the one that had air in. Just giving it away there. So we have a big screw in this tyre. It's taken it off the bead completely. So we're going to whip that off and get it up to St Martin's Tyre Company. I've already phoned him. He thinks he's got a tube that'll fit. So we're going to whip this up there now and see how we get on. Okay, so we're back from the tyre company. Just had this one repaired. No more screw in it. And now it's full of air. I hope so anyway. So, what we're going to do, that's where the screw was. Took that out. Because it's a tube type tyre, it's just changed the tube. But we didn't have any spare tubes, so we had to patch that one. It's like a big bicycle tyre patch. But it's all patched now, it's all good. Right. So we've still got no coolant in this engine. And what I'm going to do is put the coolant in. We're going to fill it with coolant and then run it up to temperature whilst I put that wheel on. It's like killing two birds with one stone. So let's get on with this coolant. So I've got 10 litres of blue antifreeze and coolant. That one says it's a concentrate. Okay. Just reading the instructions on this. Yeah, it's a 50% mix, so we'll put one in. Of course, we'll check it for leaks as we go. Right, so there's one dead soldier. We'll just keep going with that. Okay, so we're ready to fire it up now. I've put, I don't know, 8 or 9 litres in, I think. So we'll see what happens. Got to let it warm up now. We want the thermostat to open. The thermostat lives in there. What happens is that the engine will run until it gets warm, until the water temperature gets high enough, like an internal circuit around. It won't go through the radiator until water gets to a certain temperature, then the thermostat opens and the water then runs around the whole system. We've got to get it warm enough for that thermostat to open. So that's the wheels back on. We've just got to put these wheel indicators on. Right, there's a couple of things I want to check first before I do that. But yeah, we're getting there now. So that's the wheel back on. Hey. All running okay. Check the temperature gauge. We're nearly up to temperature. really hot in here, the heater's working. So we're getting there, just need to bleed that out, see what happens if we do this. Just this little screw here, there should be like hot coolant coming out now. Looking for air bubbles. So I can't see any air bubbles, can you? That's just coolant. So that's all good. I'll just do this one. A little bit awkward, it's quite in there. No air bubbles there. That will piss out of that. That's all good. So that's been a bit of a morning this. Well, I say morning, it's now 2 o'clock, but it's a coolant change. I think we've mended that leak. I just need to drop the bonnet and check it. And the flat tyre wheel change on the traction unit. All done, which is good news. So we're all ready for tomorrow. So a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of a, like, you know, going over it, just maintaining it goes a long way. I could have missed that tyre, you know, until tomorrow morning, and we've got a cruise ship tomorrow, and I'd have been off the road for 2 days. So doing it now, it's all sorted. That coolant change, every 2 years I need a coolant change. 2021, September 21 it was the last one, so it was due, so that's all done, so it's all good.